To order, please rise for the prayer and pledge of allegiance.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses. Forgive those who trespass against us. Into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. We'll start with item D, the 2025 City of Napoleon budget presentation. And since the mayor is out this evening, Kevin is going to present this for us. Kevin, the floor is yours.
Appreciate it, Council President, and I'd like to, thanks Mayor Balaruki to entrust me to doing this on his absence here this evening. And I'm just going to go through part of this. Today is actually, if everything passes today, which my fingers are crossed, is the end of a process that started pretty much back in September. And we just need to just go over this. Today will be our third read for this. And just as the process went along, myself and Andy, we met with their various departments and we talked with them, and communication is the key to go with all these different departments. We have to budget out 70 different funds, and you'll show here later in one of the slides, it's quite a bit of money. So just to cover this real quickly on this, next slide, Andy, is one of the things that we always talk about is our income tax breakout. And through our income tax breakout in 2024, and this is through the month of November, so 11 out of 12 months, we are at a capital of 1.446 million, and then the general fund is 2.686 million. Last year, we had an all-time high of over 6 million. Looking at what we're trending about with being about mid to end of December here, we're going to be pretty much right on that mark. I'm not going to say we're going to exceed it. I would say that would be about maybe 1% or 2% below of our all-time, but we're right there. And we had a record year last year, so we're still maintaining that. I guess if I had a Christmas wish, we would have more jobs come into town, which would relate to higher income taxes with that. The 2025 estimated revenues are all by categories here. And you just see how these are in a bar graph. It's sort of hard to read, but is in the nutshell on this. The reason that the highest one there is the electric one is because the electric utility department, utility billing department brings in well over millions of dollars per month, and our electric bill alone is anywhere between $950,000 to 1.3 million. And so we have to bring in that revenue to cover that expense alone plus additional with that. So that's why the revenue for the electric fund is pretty much around 16 million with that. The next one that I'd point out there, the second highest, that's all right. You can just go ahead and flip that, Andy. That'll work. Is the second highest is if you look at this one here, this is the appropriation budget. When I talked about it's a large number, it's 64 million is what we're budgeting. Again, it's out of 70 different funds. To break that down, is some of these are inter-fund transfers, and that was the second highest on the previous slide before, where it's $10 million. $10 million in essence, what I'll just say in a layman's term, is that we count this money twice. So when we have, and I'll use the income tax fund because that's the most prevalent, our income tax fund collects all the income tax, so that's $6 million that comes in. It takes $6 million and applies it to 3 different other funds, the rec department, the general fund, and the capital fund. So those 3 funds equal another $6 million. So when you see this inter-fund transfer of $10 million, in essence, it's counted twice. But that's the generally accepted counting practices that we do with here. Just of notes, salary and fringe benefits is one of our highest. And then we have general operating expenses. Purchasing of power, which is out of the electric fund, goes there. Capital improvements, we're looking at $2 million. Debt funds, one of the things that keeps me up at night and turns my hair even more gray is our debt payments. We're at $2.8 million. That's a lot of money to me. But I can tell you, as a whole, the city of Napoleon, our debt is not that great. We will be below average on there. Not encouraging us to get more debt, I'm just saying that as an example, we are pretty solid with our debts. And most of our debt, if not all of it, comes from our water, wastewater, funds like that. Okay. Moving on, the last things that we touch on is we got some major capital items. 2025, we have the East Washington Street sanitary sewer improvement. That's going to be our biggest one coming up this next year at $2.1 million. The Scott Street resurfacing from LaGrange Street all the way down to Wood Drive, which is what the Taco Bell, McDonald's, or Wendy's road there is going to be resurfaced this next year. Sort of a unique one we have is the river crossing water line design. You know, and this year has flown a little bit in 2024, but if you remember what happened in January of 2024, we had a major leak in our water line underneath the city, underneath the river. And so it is best put that we put in our budget to see about possibly replacing that line, and this is the first step of many to possibly get that completed. Every other year, we do street striping around the town. Bales Road resurfacing, that's just sort of minor. Bales Road is pretty much from the highway garage, I think it's going to be, down to Glenwood. Does that sound right?
Glenwood, Westmoreland.
Glenwood, Westmoreland, thank you. Street improvements, around $500,000, that's throughout the city. I believe the focus on a lot of this is going to be in Twin Oaks area, and they have concrete streets. And I don't know, I'm not the engineer, what they're planning on doing,
I'll
but
touch on that later.
that's most of the changes are going to be. We did, you love to say this, Andy, how many streets did we do this year?
All in all, we did over 30.
30 different
28 with the
streets?
miscellaneous streets program.
So we might not be able to do as many streets, but we're certainly going to have to do some streets and some important streets here in town. And then the last item on this is the pool storage building. That's going to be a challenge of the location by the pool, but see if they can get that figured out. And that's all in the budget. Major equipment and machineries, just to wrap this up for 2025. We have 2 police vehicles. Been working with the police department on that. The unique one is we've been doing some Tahoes the last couple years. If you see the sheriff, they've had a pickup truck for many years now. We're looking at getting a Chevy Silverado this year. And a larger item is to replace some of our AMI meters. We are in the process of getting AMI, electric and water, meter readers, and these are the more meters because we need to purchase them, and eventually every house electric meter, we are hoping eventually, and it'll be a few years to get there, we'll have an AMI meter to that hookup. Large dump truck for the streets department. The fire engine, there was a lot of discussion during our meetings for the budget, is we budgeted $250,000, and that's literally just the down payment of a fire truck. There's still going to be more discussion about that as we move forward in 2025, but that is at least as an initial step for that. The water treatment membrane replacements are $250,000. I can tell you those membranes are supposed to last about 3 to 4 years, and they're going on about 5 or 6 years. So we've been very great stewards of our money and making sure our upkeep, that we can maintain these things and keep them. However, there will be a point that we have to replace these, and it's going to be around $250,000. Enterprise substation improvements, $3.6 million. It's a very large number. If you go way back to when we sold some assets in the electric fund, even before my time, this is part of that process of why we did that. And if you look at our electric fund, we have the money because we sold those assets a few years ago to get this substation improvements taken care of. And then finally, with the electric department, a 47-foot electric bucket truck. These are the major items. This is all I have to say for the presentation. Again, I thank you as council, and I thank everybody within the city, of all the department heads, of how nice they've been great to work with as this coming year is going. And I do ask, as we go through here, if there's questions, please ask. But when we get to the third read, let's get this passed tonight.
Thank you, Kevin. Nice job. Really appreciate you doing that. Item E is the approval of minutes. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the minutes shall stand approved from the December 2nd, 2024 regular council meeting. Hearing none, it will stand approved. Item F is citizen communication. If there's anyone in attendance or online that would like to address council, feel free to do so at this time. Item G, reports from council committees. G1, the electric committee did not meet on December 9th, 2024 due to lack of agenda items. G2, the water, sewer, refuse, recycling, and litter committee did not meet December 9th, 2024 due to lack of agenda items. G3, the municipal properties, building, land use, and ED committee did not meet on December 9th, 2024 due to lack of agenda items. G4, the parks and recreation committee did not meet earlier tonight due to lack of agenda items. And G5, the ad hoc committee did meet on December 6th and performed reviewed performance evaluations. We will move to item I, the introduction of new ordinances and resolutions. I1 is ordinance number 047-24, an ordinance authorizing a pay increase for the City of Napoleon, Ohio Law Director and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second. Thank you. Billy, anything to add here?
To my own raise, no, I'll pass. Thank you.
We'll do that when we get to mine.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Any questions or comments from council?
I will just add that the numbers that you'll see on the all three of these pieces of legislation represent a 3.5% increase, which mirrors what our non-bargaining and AFSCME are receiving in 2025.
Thank you. And Billy, thank you for your work this year.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate it. Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
That will move to second read. Item I2, ordinance number 048-24, an ordinance authorizing a pay increase for the City of Napoleon, Ohio Finance Director and declaring an emergency.
Second?
Thank you. Kevin, anything to add here?
I will ditto Mr. Harmon's comments, no.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your work this year as well.
Appreciate it.
Any questions or comments from council? Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
That will move to second read. Item I3, ordinance number 049-24, an ordinance authorizing a pay increase for the City of Napoleon, Ohio City Manager and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion? Motion.
Second?
Thank you. Andy, anything from your seat?
In the interest of decorum, no.
Well, thank you, Andy, for all the work in 2024. Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Okay, that will also move to second read.
I will say thank you. I do appreciate it.
Thank you, Andy. Item J, second reading of ordinances and resolutions. There are none this evening. Item K, third reading of ordinances and resolutions. K1 is ordinance number 037-24, an ordinance establishing the appropriation measure budget of the City of Napoleon, Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, listed in Exhibit A and declaring an emergency.
Motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tom. Kevin?
Thank you, Council President. What this is the actual appropriations budget for all the expense line items, and there are no changes from the first or second reads.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Okay. That has passed on third read under emergency. Item K2, resolution number 038-24, a resolution authorizing the finance director to transfer certain fund balances from respective funds to other funds per ORC section 5705.14 on an as-needed basis in fiscal year 2025, listed in Exhibit A and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Kevin?
This is the transfer of funds from one fund to another. The example I always use is the income tax all goes into what we call the 170 income tax fund, and then it gets dispersed to the 220 fund, the 100 fund, and the 400 fund, which, by proportion, it's the rec fund, the general fund, and the capital fund, but no changes from first or second read.
Thank you, Kevin. Questions or comments? Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
That is also passed on third read under emergency. Item K3, ordinance number 039-24, an ordinance amending the allocation of funds as found in sections 193.11 and 194.013 of the codified ordinances of the City of Napoleon, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
Second.
Thank you. Kevin?
I'm getting tears of joy over here. So what this one is the 65%, 35% that we have passed the last several years of the breakout of the income tax between the general fund and the capital fund. And again, there's no changes from the first two reads.
Thank you, Kevin. Questions from council? Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Okay, that was passed on third read under emergency. Item K4, ordinance number 040-24, an ordinance apportioning the expenses incurred, including wages, salaries, and fringe benefits of the mayor, council, and various other departments of the City of Napoleon, which are not otherwise directly charged to special and/or capital projects among various accounts effective January 1st, 2025, amending ordinance numbers 104-09, 087-19, 069-20, 059-21, 076-22, and 048-23, and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Kevin?
What these reimbursements are is anybody that, it's not anybody. Majority of people that get paid out of the general fund, they get reimbursed back from the water fund, the electric fund, the wastewater fund, as an example. The one example I give is that our HR person gets paid out of the general fund, but she's not just the HR person for those that are in the general fund. She's the water department's HR person. She's the electric department's HR person. So a portion of her salary and benefits, as an example, are reimbursed back from their funds to the general fund. Again, there's no changes from the first or second read.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Okay, that was passed on third read under emergency. Item K5, ordinance number 041-24, an ordinance establishing a new position classification pay plan for employees of the City of Napoleon, Ohio for the year 2025, repealing ordinance number 049-23, and declaring an emergency. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Kevin?
There's no changes from the first or second read on these, and these are the listings of the pay ranges for positions, various positions in the City of Napoleon.
Thank you, Kevin. Any questions or comments from council? Hearing none, Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Okay, that is passed on third read under emergency. Item K6, resolution number 042-24, a resolution authorizing a contribution to the Community Improvement Corporation of Henry County, Ohio, in and for the year 2025, and declaring an emergency.
Motion.
Thank you, Tom.
Second.
Thank you, Brittany. Kevin?
This resolution lists the amount of the contribution that we're going to give to the Community Improvement Corporation for 2025. The amount is $45,000, and it's the same as the first two reads.
Thank you, Kevin. Comments from council? Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
That passes under third read, under emergency. Item K7, resolution number 043-24, a resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds and authorizing a department director to take bids on certain projects, services, equipment, materials, or supplies without the requirement for additional legislation to do so in the year 2025 and declaring an emergency.
Motion?
Second.
Brittany. Kevin.
This is what we informally call the master bid list. This allows departments to purchase items that are being budgeted for without having to come back for more, for more council legislation. And the list does not change from first or second reading.
Thank you, Kevin. Questions from council? Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
That is passed on third read under emergency. And item K8 is resolution number 044-24, a resolution authorizing expenditure of funds in excess of $50,000 in and for the year 2025 as it relates to reoccurring costs associated with the operation of the city for payment of expenses and for purchases associated with vendors utilized by multiple departments within the city, elimination of necessity of competitive bidding in and for the year 2025 as it relates to certain transactions and declaring an emergency.
A motion.
Second?
Kevin.
This relates to any recurring cost. We have a list of vendors that are on this, and it gets updated throughout the year and annually. And this is any vendor that we may spend over $50,000, like it says in the resolution here, that it could be just like one purchase or multiple departments. So this list has not changed from first or second read, and it allows us to eliminate the competitive bidding because we're spending more than $50,000 on that vendor. And with that, if this does pass, we have a 2025 budget.
Thank you, Kevin. Questions or comments from council? Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
All right, that is passed on third read under emergency.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item K9, resolution number 045-24, a resolution extending the provisions contained in resolution number 057-23, wherein council imposed an immediate moratorium on the issuance and processing of permits allowing retail dispensaries, cultivators, and processors of adult use marijuana within the city of Napoleon, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Motion?
Thank you, Ken.
Second.
Thank you, sir. Billy.
Thank you, Council President. This is the marijuana moratorium discussed a few times now. There are no changes to this legislation, and I've not heard any updates from the state at this point.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments? Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Okay, that is passed on third read, also under emergency. Item L.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
should there also be a 4624? It's the Van Heining, 50,000.
That was suspended last 2 weeks ago.
Was that,
That was suspended.
Okay,
The rules
all
were
right.
suspended, yes,
right?
Okay.
yeah. I double-checked that today, Ken, because I couldn't remember myself, and I didn't have it in my notes, so yes, it was suspended.
Okay.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Kenny. Item L, good of the city. L1, approval of the power supply cost adjustment factor for December 2024 as PSCA 3-month average factor 0.000949 and JV2 0.037417. Andy.
Yes, Council President, as this number is trending upward as suspected, it's still quite low, and there is nothing noteworthy this month.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments? Do we have a motion to approve?
A motion.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave, Brittany. Yes. Ross.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Okay, that has been approved. Item L2, discussion or action, the appointment of 2 council members to the Volunteer Firefighters Dependent Fund Board. Anyone interested?
It's about a 2-minute meeting, which will take place probably the second meeting in January, the second council meeting in January, just prior to, right before. So it's not a huge time commitment.
Tom, you're interested? Thank you, sir.
Looks great on a resume. Just saying.
Really selling it.
Well, if you say that, then put me down, please.
All right, can we have a motion to appoint Tom Weaver and Brittany Schwab to the Volunteer Firefighters Dependent Fund Board, please?
So moved.
I'll second. Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Do I have to abstain or?
You can say yes.
Yes.
Dr. Dave,
Yes.
Brittany.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes,
Ken.
Yes.
You could have also
Thank you
voted
both.
no.
you could have. Item L3, discussion or action, the appointment of 2 council members to the Volunteer Peace Officers Dependent Fund Board. This one is at the same.
This one meets 3 times a month, typically about 2-hour meetings. But again, it looks great on a resume. Same thing. It meets just prior to the next or probably the second meeting in January. Usually we schedule these at 7:50 or 6:50 and 6:55, and they don't take all their 5 minutes, so.
Are the same 2 still
I-
interested?
I'm building that resume up, let's do it.
I don't know, I'd like to offer the opportunity, if they're passing, you don't want to take a Yeah. I'm fine, yeah.
Can we have a motion to appoint Tom Weaver and Brittany Schwab to the Volunteer Peace Officers Dependent Fund Board, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Jordan. I will second. Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
Brittany.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes,
Ken.
Yes.
thank you both. Item L4, discussion or action, 4th quarter budget adjustments. Kevin?
We are going to hold off on meeting for the 4th quarter budget adjustments because it's initially scheduled for the 23rd of December. Because we have, and it's the end of the year, the 27th, we have a payroll which would skew some numbers. We are going to move that to the second Monday of January so that we could get all of our payments in and then get all the adjustments completed, so then it could be reviewed then. Billy, if it's too soon, we could wait on this, or we could just ask the law director to enact legislation, just change that from December 13th to January 13th.
It's written and ready to go, so you tell me when you want it. That's it.
If we could just approve this today for after the January 13th meeting, then it's already done.
That's
if
fine.
That's fine with Billy. So we're asking for the law director to enact the legislation following the January 13th meeting.
Okay. Can we have a motion for that, please?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Bob,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes.
Dr. Dave.
Yes.
Brittany.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Item M, we will go around the table. Kevin, I'll start with you this evening.
Other than we now have a budget for 2025, and I thank you for everybody for everything they've done to get this process moving along. That's all I have.
Kevin, Tom?
Just the meeting on the 13th, Michaela, that we just talked about, we shoot for 5:30. And if any members can't make it, I'll get back to you.
Okay.
We'll change it.
5:30?
Thank you, Tom. Dr. Dave? Brittany? Mr. Hayes?
I have a question in the, on the budget, in the wastewater fund revenue comparison. There's a large number, of 1,171,000. Refresh my mind on what that is.
Is that from the previous year? Or is that from this-
2024.
2024. That would be because we received some funds for the wastewater.
Grant funds.
building of the wastewater plant. So it was brought into the wastewater funds to be dispersed, then turned around and paid back
Yeah.
out for debt.
Okay.
with that. So it's sort of an in and out, but it does skew the numbers. Yes, it does
Yeah.
with that. But that's what that is for.
Thank you. Nothing else.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Mr. Watson?
Nothing.
Thanks, sir. Nothing for me. Billy?
If I don't see you before the holiday, happy holidays to everybody, and Merry Christmas and so on.
Andy?
Yeah, as Kevin mentioned earlier in the miscellaneous streets for 2025, I've been working with staff on that program, and our goal is to, as it is every year, to bid it out as early as possible to get the best possible bids. Per our budget discussions, we will concentrate on the Twin Oaks subdivision this year. Those are concrete streets. A couple of them are in terrible, terrible condition, and some are showing their life. Two of them, Becca Lane and Neward Avenue, will have to be completely removed and replaced, torn out completely. And what I have recommended, or what I plan on doing this year, is to rebuild those with asphalt versus concrete. The cost is significantly less to go with asphalt, and the payback is, I believe, much greater long-term by going with asphalt. The savings will be approximately $225,000 versus doing the job with concrete. Again, that is just for Becca Lane, Neward Avenue, and a small section of the end of Bordeaux where it comes into Twin Oaks. Lost my train of thought there. Anyway, when looking at it, again, I said long-term, concrete streets, those that we're tearing out are around 30 years old. Neward was one of the first ones to go in, and then Becca is the one that will be put in, was put in sometime later, but it's approximately 30 years old. And that's about what you can get out of a concrete street is 30 years. An asphalt street is 20 years plus. The real good thing about asphalt is when it's worn out, you grind it, you repave it, you're done. With concrete, as I said here, we're completely tearing it out to rebuild it. So I asked Chad to run the number for me today on the milling and repaving of Becca Lane. If indeed it was asphalt right now, and we were to go through and mill it and repave it, it's $46,600. So to tear it out and redo it completely in asphalt is $192,526 estimate. And that same thing in concrete is $316,976. So you can see long-term, asphalt's a much, much better investment for those streets. And any street that we address in town that is concrete will likely be replaced with asphalt when the time comes that it needs to come out. In the not too distant future, hopefully next year, or 26, we'll be able to address North Harmony. It's in similar condition, it's concrete, terrible condition, and it too will have to come out and be rebuilt, and that will be done in asphalt as well. At least that would be my plan. So anyway, I just wanted to bring you up to speed on that. In the not too distant future, we'll be coming to you hopefully with, to go out for bids, and then hopefully award that not too far into the new year. So that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Have a good holiday season.
You too. I have nothing this evening, other than thanking everybody that was involved in the budget process. Brandy, Lori, Kevin, Andy, all of the department heads, Tracy. Cannot thank you all enough. So with that, we will move to item N, to approve the payment of bills and financial reports. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the payment of bills shall stand approved. I'm hearing none, they will stand approved. And is there a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Michaela, please call the roll.
Don,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dr. Dave, Brittany,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes,
Ken.
Yes.
we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
I'm saying no.